Emma Vigeland's upset at you guys. Emma Vigeland says she's enraged that people aren't convinced Democrats are the lesser of two evils. Oh my God, guys. So Sammy Boy Cedar and Emma Vigeland are perturbed. They're angry. They're furious. They are so angry that all of you would have the audacity to think for yourselves and actually maybe not vote Democrat. Now, I've heard this story before in 2016 and in 2020, where you have these quote unquote authoritative people within the independent media sphere space, you know, the larger channels, who are now talking down to all of you poor folk because you guys just don't know any better. Well, guess what? The reality is that voters can pick whoever the hell they want. The reality is that it doesn't matter what you say, because I'm encouraging my audience, and I encourage all of you to do the same, to tell other people to maybe break away from voting Democrat or Republican, to vote independent or third party, to support citizen ballot initiatives, and maybe not listen to these oh-so-smug liberals. Because you know what they're going to say? Spoiler alert. They're going to tell you, you guys, we know it's tough, but we have a better chance in speaking and reaching out to the Democrats because that works so swimmingly well. The kids are still in cages. Democrat politicians, just like Republican politicians, are doing insider trading. Democrats all have APAC babysitters. Democrats are ignoring the wills and needs of the people. Democrats are not investing into the United States people. Democrats are continuing on with the neoliberal agenda. But don't worry, folks. According to Emma Vigeland and Sammy Boy Cedar, we can push the Democrats. We just got to keep our powder dry and hold their freaking feet to the fire. I want to give a huge shout out to Big Mad Crab. He's part of INN. Keep doing the good stuff there. Now, Big Mad Crab, I don't know how you sat through this, but I'm man enough to admit you're made out of stronger stuff than me.
So there is absolutely no evidence. And in fact, it's contrary to all of the experience of the past 60, 70 years that the Democratic Party is the most effective roadblock. No, they're both roadblocks, but one is just bigger and more robust, and we have less power to dismantle it. And that is the Republican Party.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Because the Republican Party is such a bad thing. Yeah. But wait, what about the Democratic Party? Same Democratic Party that committed election fraud in 2016 and 2020 during the Democratic primaries, in which that nutless cuck of a wonder, Bernie Sanders, allowed the DNC to roll all over him and his supporters and volunteers and delegates. Same Democratic Party. I don't know, because we were there during the 2016 convention in Philadelphia. And I spoke to a lot of Bernie Sanders delegates and volunteers. And you know what? Their stories were all the same about them being doxxed, harassed, followed via in person or over the phone or on social media, getting threatening phone calls, being physically assaulted in many ways. That's all I could say because of the YouTube guidelines. All their stories were the same, Emma and Sammy. And it was being done and perpetrated not by Trump supporters, but by, oh my goodness gracious, Cretaceous, Hillary Clinton supporters who were, oh, that's right, Democrats. I saw in 2020, the same thing happen. Oh, but don't worry, we just got to hold our feet to the fire. Bernie's going to do it. No, Bernie didn't do it. And then now in 2024, at the DNC convention here in Chicago, we saw these same smug liberals talk down to the protests and activists, and even uncommitted. Uncommitted. You know what that word means? Even they're still holding out for hope for Kamala. It's absolutely pathetic when you got, quote unquote, serious people going to bat for a political party that doesn't give a damn about anybody.
And I just get impatient with this. Like, I mean, time to deal with reality. I don't understand. Like we're in a truncated period of time where the election is the conversation, but after election day, we'll be back to work talking about things in a more robust manner about what's possible and how, if Harris gets elected, she can be pushed, how we can push a more progressive agenda with the squad, with other unions, with organizing outside of the situation. But right now, the task at hand is that we have two choices for president, and one of them is terrifying.
Yes, everyone. So shut up and stop thinking for yourselves, because it's Trump. Donald Trump, he's somewhere in the woods. Donald Trump, he's hiding in the closet. Donald Trump, he's in the backseat of your car. Donald Trump is underneath your basement. Oh, Donald Trump is under your bed. Don't panic now, people. Donald Trump is right behind you. Look at that smug face that Sammy has. Like, yes, Emma. Yes, tell them to wake up to reality because Trump's so bad. Trump is you know what? Watch. I'm willing to bet that if Trump gets elected in office, some brain dead liberal, some wine mom is going to write a book that's going to be sold at Target called "Trump is a Bad Man." If that book doesn't exist, some wine liberal mom, somebody like Emma, is going to write that book, sell it at Target. Trump is so bad and mean. We got to make a clear choice. No, the clear choice is think for yourselves, folks. These people want you to be afraid and be suckered into supporting a political party that doesn't like you, doesn't think about you, and sure as hell doesn't respect you. Keep on doing that. Tell us again, Emma.
We can push a more progressive agenda with the squad, with other unions, with organizing outside of the situation. But right now, the task at hand is that we have two choices for president. And one of them is terrifying, at least to me, and should be to a lot of people, in the sense that he now has J.D. Vance and Peter Thiel and all these.
By the way, pushing a progressive agenda. I didn't get the memo. Did we ever get any like Medicare for all, student debt forgiveness, investing into our infrastructure, ending the wars, stopping political insider trading? Did we ever get that? Folks, let's have democracy. Democracy in the chat. Type 1 for yes, Kit. We did. You're just not paying attention to the good work that the Democrats are doing. Shame on you, you awful man. Type 2, man, I didn't get that memo. What are you talking about, Emma? Which, by the way, too, Emma, eat a sandwich or go outside. You're not looking healthy.
Rules behind him. He's more emboldened to be anti-democratic. Some of the stuff he's talking about are essentially pogroms. Harris has a lot of problems, but at least she's not freaking Biden. And that's the reality of the situation.
Oh, Harris has got a lot of problems, but at least she's not Biden. Harris needs a teleprompter. Harris, every time she speaks, it loses support. Harris is losing the coalition. Harris wasn't even voted in. She was appointed, anointed, made a Democratic nominee because old man Biden's a senile goat. And look at that smug face that Sammy has. Like, that's right. It's like this. Hold on. He's got a face like this. That's his face right there. Say again, Emma.
Has J.D. Vance and Peter Thiel and all these ghouls behind him. He's more emboldened to be anti-democratic. Some of the stuff he's talking about are essentially pogroms. Harris has a lot of problems, but at least she's not freaking Biden. And that's the reality of the situation. So deal with it or don't. Like, if you don't want to deal with electoral politics, don't deal with electoral politics. But if you want to deal with electoral politics, then engage in the reality of the two choices that we have. And that's it. Like, I have respect for people that have that don't care about electoral politics and just want to focus on organizing. That's fine. That's fine. But then if you want to talk about electoral politics, engage in the fucking reality. It's so enraging to hear this kind of stuff all the time.
Says the lady born with had a silver spoon in her mouth, right? Born with a silver spoon, right? That's you, Emma. We got to engage with reality. Well, wake up to reality. People don't have to be subservient to politicians. A politician has to earn the vote. It's not entitled to them. It's not given to them. And while Kamala was anointed by the Democrats, I mean, she didn't get the votes. There was no primary in 2024. And before any liberal says, oh, yes, there was. No, there wasn't. Say that to RFK Jr.'s campaign, or Marianne Williamson, or Dean Phillips. And yes, even Fat Tony, a.k.a. Cenk Uygur. Did any of them get a fair chance for the Democratic primary? No. Biden was the nominee. He had it all in the bag. I mean, the Democrats are doing everything they can to make it absolutely difficult and excruciating for all the candidates that were in the Democratic primary. But Biden was selected. And then as soon as Biden crapped his pants in that debate against Trump, Kamala stepped up. And everybody followed the orders. Everybody obeyed the system and did what? Surprise, surprise. The Democrats picked Kamala and all the liberal voters fell in line. So here's the reality. If you are going to be a candidate running for office, you have to earn the votes from the people. And that's something Emma and Sammy Boy Cedar and a lot of these vote blue no matter who liberals are going to tell you just to shut up, don't think for yourself, and listen to what we tell you, because if you don't, we are going to constantly vilify you. We're going to say that you're problematic. You know what I think is problematic? I have a problem with people constantly peddling the same BS, saying if we just keep our powder dry, if we hold the Democrats' feet to the fire, they'll eventually listen to us. It's been many years since 2016. How's that worked for us? What about Justice Democrats, Brand New Congress, Our Revolution, DSA, and all these other organizations? How'd that all turned out? Oh, that's right. They went belly up, just like Me Too and Time's Up and Black Lives Matter. And hell, you know what? You know what I'm going to add into the pile? Even the uncommitted movement. Because the uncommitted movement has the audacity to tell its supporters, its volunteers, it's okay if you don't want to vote for Trump. We're not going to support Kamala or Trump, but please, whatever you do, don't vote third party. Uncommitted, still having the audacity and still trying to be nice to the Democrats. Listen. If Trump does get elected into office again, I'm willing to bet 10 out of 10. Sammy Boy and Emma are going to do a whole video tirade talking down to people who didn't support Kamala Harris. Make yourselves more irrelevant, why don't you?
If you fool me once, it's because I didn't think a guard was needed. If you fool me twice, it's because I didn't learn the lesson, so it bears repeating. If you try the same play 3 times running, it's because you know what's coming, and you didn't come to lead, you came to purposefully be misleading. Democracy is dry, it's spent a century bleeding. The husk is gaping open to the sky, out in the field where all the sheep just keep on circling and worrying and bleeding. They're waiting for the shepherd that they've tried to hide their faith in, but he's so appealing. They'd gladly give their fleece. It's such a freeing feeling that even when he leads them to the ledge and starts to urge them on, they're positively beaming. They were told that they were on their way to save democracy, so even as they plummet, they just gloat. They don't consider screaming. And halfway up the cliff, the shepherd's cozy little mittens wrap around the staff of shattered human hopes on which he's leaning. He shows the gentle grin that used to stir your inner spark, and he says, "Not me, us," as he gestures to the oligarchs. He knows that if he runs, they're going to stop him like a stolen car. And he'll easily surrender because it bought a lot of time for laying mines in all the grassroots. Suddenly, the tiniest of movements gets you blown apart. Suddenly, you're in a play that's set on an election day and voting for the fire, unaware you're playing Joan of Arc. Suddenly, the shepherd pulls the rug and slips a hood across your clueless mug, and everything goes zero dark. I'm gonna warn you once more before it's 2024 and you fuck around and find out who your heroes are. To take a step back from the herd, and you'll learn that you can spot who all the shearers are. If you really want to know the product that they're selling, I can take you where the mirrors are. If you think your voice is finally ready, I can tell you where the lyrics are. I hid them in a box I had to bury neath the cobble when they carpet bombed the promenade and raided all the street bazaars. Now all we've got's the marketplace, and you're too broke to even bother asking what the options for your treatment are. Suddenly, the raw debris of homeless human dignity will find it has 100 teeth for every badge and sweeper's arm. Suddenly, they speak in solidarity and each is armed. Suddenly, the sheep can see the shepherd for his truest form and all pitch in at once to help him buy the farm. And now it's zero dark, and all is calm and peaceful save the distant wail of sirens that approach beside the flames of dawn. Suddenly, the carrot's just a string that's on a stick, and all your movements make you sick because the prize is gone. Now, we could go and flee into the forest low and meek, or we can exercise our right to feast and go and graze on Biden's lawn. Because he's been sowing seeds that seep a toxin out to sap a bit from each of us and keep on leaching decades after Biden's gone. So regardless who they summon out of hell to come and do the job, it will not feel like Biden's gone. But in that time of hopelessness, you cannot trust the shepherd when he once again comes asking you to humor him his siren song. And it's cute that you can innocently, honestly assume that's just a symptom of a system that was wired wrong, and not the standard feature, basic function, primary objective of a mass hypnosis firebomb. You don't need to know the words to cry along. Someday it'll hit you like an officer who pistol whipped their ride along. Broke his jaw and kept his job and kept it moving right along. That voting isn't red or blue or black or white or right or wrong. Voting's like a firing squad where you can choose the firearm. It's slow extinction by and large. It's Super Tuesday supercharged. It's all your futures, roots and all, just tossed out on a garbage barge. It's everybody dropping out to push the biggest oligarch. It's everybody voting fire, registered as Joan of Arc.